Hello and welcome to Raw Politics. In this episode, we look at the main reason why I believe Raila Odinga is likely to contest come 2027. If this is a topic you are interested in, please stay tuned. If you are watching us for the first time, take a moment and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss the next videos. Otherwise, let us move into the main subject. Now, you may be wondering why Raila Odinga or people close to him are insinuating that he is in the race come 2027. For those who don't know, this is the history of Raila Odinga presidential candidature. In 1997, Raila Odinga vied. He made his debut. That is the first time he vied. He only got the support of Luos, and that did not take him far. He became a distant third. In 2002, Raila did not vie. He supported Kibaki with the hope that later Kibaki would make him or anoint him, literally, the head of government in the form of an executive prime minister. Kibaki didn't do that. And in 2007, Raila managed for the first time to coin a coalition of different tribes and went for the seat. In my opinion, this time round it worked, but for one problem. Because Raila managed for the first time to bring a coalition of like-minded people from different communities. And this gave him an edge over Kibaki. In my opinion, I don't see how Raila Odinga would have lost the 2007 election. He had the majority member of parliament. He had the majority councillors, then they were called councillors. And in Kenya, being a tribal country, it is very difficult for you to have a parliamentary majority as a party, not as a coalition, as a party, yet lose the presidency. It doesn't make sense. But let's say the problem was in their campaign, they had coined the 41 against 1. This ended up scaring those who were in power to the point that they saw the only way for survival was to remain in power, no matter the cost. I'm not justifying what happened, but I'm saying to some extent, the 41 against 1 was a very bad move in terms of campaign sloganeering. Now, in 2013, Raila had messed up. He lost virtually every member of Pentagon and had to run to Kalonzo Musyoka for support. And they lost, of course. In 2017, Raila managed to bring back Mudavadi and Wetangula and Kalonzo, but they still lost. And then in 2022, Raila, for the first time in history, had the support of an incumbent president. He had the support of billionaires from every walk of life. He had the full support of the media. The pollsters were on his side. Everything conspired to be on his side. Yet he still lost. So, somebody who lost the election when everything that he ever needed was given to him, why would he vie in 2027 when, one, he would be older, not as energetic as he was in 2022. 2, he wouldn't have the financial might he enjoyed. And 3, his support base would be a disillusioned one. They would be like going into an election knowing that they will lose for the first time. So why would Raila vie? Now, I'm glad you asked. In my humble submission, Raila is simply in the race, or in all these races, for one purpose: to sustain the Odinga dynasty. Ever since we got independent, Luo Nyanza is strongly or solidly behind the Odingas. They control our culture. They decide what political leanings we take. And so this is something that is worth more than even the presidency itself. It is worth more than even businesses, because in itself, it gives the Odingas the Luos as a bargaining chip. And he can only do that. He can only continue to do that. The family can only continue to do that if that dynasty is not crushed. Lest you forget, the Moi dynasty has been crushed. The Kenyatta dynasty is crushed. And so the only remaining political dynasty in the country is the Odinga dynasty, which is also weak as we speak. Why? Because currently they don't have an heir apparent, somebody who the Luos would readily embrace in the absence of Raila. And so what is Raila going to do? Very simple. Raila has planned that moving forward, he would either have his daughter, Winnie, as a candidate in one of the seats, maybe Lang'ata or Nairobi, or Jaoko, the nephew, in Bondo, Jaoko Buru, the son of the current senator for Siaya, Oburu Odinga. That way, if he was to leave one of his own in a prominent political seat, then it is easier to convince Luos that in the absence of Raila, then the Odinga dynasty can still continue through either Jaoko or through Winnie. Now, why am I saying this? If you could remember, Oginga Odinga never retired from politics. Jaramogi Odinga never retired from politics, if you can remember. So, and when he was in politics, when he was still even vying, his son, Raila Odinga, was prominently placed as an MP in Nairobi's Lang'ata constituency. Then the larger Lang'ata before it was split into Lang'ata and Kibra. This gave Raila an advantage because in the absence of his father, people saw an Odinga, especially Luo, saw an Odinga still prominently placed. And that is what I think Raila is going to try and achieve in 2027. He's not going into this race because he believes he can win. I don't think he can win. I'm not ruling out him winning because I'm not naive politically. I know in politics, chances are that you can either win or lose. But when you look at the statistics and the odds against him, things don't favor Raila victory, but he will vie nonetheless, because that is the only opportunity to position one of his own in a powerful place enough, or as an MP or a senator, in a powerful place, so that people will just see that we can transition to this person. That is what I think. If you asked me, Raila would be vying so that he can help sustain the Odinga dynasty by having an heir apparent, giving Luo somebody they can be like, okay, Raila is not longer in the race, but we have Winnie here. Or Raila is no longer in the race, but we have Mheshimiwa Jaoko Oburu here. That way, the family doesn't lose. And if you think this is so far-fetched, you saw the other day, Ruth Odinga, the women rep for Kisumu, said that after a research, she came to the conclusion that there is no Luo who has what it takes to vie for the presidency. That the only person who was capable of vying for presidency is actually her brother Raila Odinga. So Ruth was simply telling people that anybody who has an ambition or who thinks that they can replace Raila or etc., they should postpone or they should shelve their own ambitions, because at the end of the day, Raila will be in the race come 2027. Oburu even, to make this even clearer, was suggesting that the replacement for Raila would be Wandai. When he said Wandai, he knew very well that people would automatically reject Opiyo Wandai because he's not very popular among Luos, and it's very difficult to sell him as a replacement of Raila Odinga, especially to Raila supporters. So he was simply doing that to make people feel, or come to the conclusion that still we don't have a replacement for Raila. And that way, reinforcing, that way he was reinforcing the idea that Raila Odinga must be in the race. Even Simbarati suggested the same. I even saw Raila campaigning in Kisii. His tone is that he will be in the race come 2027. Not to win, no, but to sustain the Odinga dynasty. Now, whether that will succeed, whether that ploy will succeed, is a different matter altogether. And if you are interested in that discussion, let me know so that I can create a video on that particular subject. Otherwise, thank you for watching this video. If you found this video interesting or liked it, please just like and then also share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe if you have not subscribed so that you don't miss other videos. Otherwise, thank you. Welcome. Let's meet in the next video.